look at another example. In this case, I have multiplication, subtraction, and multiplication. Now I'm going to read this as a positive 2x times 4 subtract x, subtract a positive 3 times x squared minus 2x plus 1. In other words, I'm reading this as a subtraction symbol. So when I multiply, I will still have the subtraction symbol. I must be very careful to keep the parentheses. So to multiply, I distribute. I multiply the 2x into 4, and the 2x times the opposite of x. And 2x times 4 is 8x. 2x times the opposite of x is a negative 2x squared. Now I'm distributing the 3. Now I'm just multiplying by a positive 3. I bring the negative down. So I bring the negative down. I'm only multiplying by the positive 3. A positive 3 times x squared is 3x squared. A positive 3 times a negative 2x is a negative 6x. A positive 3 times a positive 1 is a positive 3. Now to subtract, I take the opposite of everything in parentheses. So I rewrite the 8x minus 2x squared the same, and I add the opposite of all the terms in the parentheses. The opposite of 3x squared is a negative 3x squared. The opposite of a negative 6x is a positive 6x. The opposite of a positive 3 is negative 3. Now that we have addition, I can combine like terms. So I can combine the negative 2x squared and the negative 3x squared, the positive 8x and the positive 6x, and leave the negative 3 alone. Again, combining like terms. Adding the coefficients, a negative 2 plus a negative 3 is a negative 5. So a negative 2x squared subtract 3x squared is a negative 5x squared. It should be x squared. 8x plus 6x is 14x, then minus 3. So this should be written as a negative 5x squared plus 14x minus 3. Now I'm going to give you some exercises. Be sure to copy the exercises very carefully. Once you've copied the exercises, stop the tape, work the exercises, and then you can restart the tape to check your answers. If any of your answers fail to agree with the answers on the tape, be sure to check with someone. If you've made a mistake, you need to see why. If we've made a mistake on the tape, we need to correct the tape. Simplify the following polynomials. The first one, 2x times the quantity x plus 3 plus 2 times the quantity x squared minus 1. The second one, 4 minus 3 times the quantity 2x minus 3 times the quantity x minus 1. Or that reads 4 minus 3 bracket 2x minus 3 parenthesis x minus 1 close parenthesis close bracket. The fourth one, the quantity 2x minus 1 times the quantity x plus 2, subtract the quantity x squared minus 1. Or it's 2x minus 1 times x plus 2, subtract x squared minus 1. Here come your answers. The answer to the first one, 4x squared plus 6x minus 2. The second one, 3x minus 5. The third one, x squared plus 3x minus 1. I'm going to give you some examples involving exponents. Remember, you must evaluate the powers before performing multiplication, division, addition, or subtraction. As you evaluate the powers, be sure to retain the parentheses. The most important part in simplifying polynomials is to keep your parentheses until the subtraction or addition step. If you have subtraction, you have to take the opposite of each of the terms within the parentheses. Of course, if you have addition, you can simply combine the like terms. Let's simplify 2x minus 1 quantity squared minus 3x minus 1 times x plus 2. According to the rule for the order of operations, I work inside symbols of inclusion first. I cannot simplify 2x minus 1. The terms are not alike. I cannot simplify 3x minus 1. I cannot simplify x plus 2. So therefore I go to my next step, which is to evaluate powers. So I'm going to evaluate 2x minus 1 quantity squared. Now what I'm going to do is to evaluate this out to the side so I can keep my organization straight. So I've created a box here, and that's what we call doing it out to the side. So I'm going to multiply the 2x minus 1 quantity squared out. Remember, 2x minus 1 quantity squared is 2x minus 1 times 2x minus 1. Applying the 4 method, 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times a negative 1 is a negative 2x. A negative 1 times 2x is a negative 2x. A negative 1 times negative 1 is plus 1. Where I get 4x squared minus 4x plus 1. Now that's doing what we have in the parentheses. So when I have this, I work within the parentheses first. When I work within the parentheses, I get the 4x squared minus 4x plus 1. And note, I retained the parentheses. That's very important. This is a quantity squared, so when I get through squaring it, I will still have the quantity. Keep my subtraction symbol because the subtraction is in the last step, so keep the subtraction symbol. And now I do my multiplication. Once I evaluate powers, then I multiply and divide left to right. I have no division, so I do the multiplication. Multiply 3x minus 1 times x plus 2. I use the 4 method. 3x times x would be 3x squared. 3x times a positive 2 is 6x. A negative 1 times x is a negative 1x. A negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. So I get 3x squared plus 5x minus 2.